We are live. Hi, Talia. How are you?
Hi, I'm eating chips.
Hey. We're super chill tonight. She's eating at
Crunching
home
on
like a
chips.
pepper. I have Bean over here as my special guest. Say hi, Bean. Say hi.
He's so cute.
Okay. he's,
He is cute.
he's cute, but like if you knew his personality, you wouldn't think he was cute. He's like the brooding child that's like always causing trouble. Like he's always mad about something all the time.
That's
He's like,
funny.
feed me every single day. He's gotten like, what's the word? Gluttonous. He wants to eat like, he doesn't just want one packet of food. He wants like 2 or 3. He's becoming.
Talia, what are you reading?
Yes, Talia, what are you reading? Hey, friend. Talia, I haven't seen
Hey,
you in
girl.
a zillion years. I miss you.
I
Are you
know.
coming tomorrow to church? Please say yes. I hope so. We would love to see you. Bring Zora. Delicious monsters. It sounds like an energy drink.
That's literally what my thought was.
Because it reminds me of Monster, like the energy drink. Oh no, my husband's gonna sit at the table and watch me do my sprint, and now I feel like I'm nervous. Because I was MIA. You were, Talia. I'm so sorry about everything that's been going on with you and your
Hey,
family.
Courtney.
I'm praying for you. Hi, Courtney. Let's see what she's up to. Whoop.
I'm so glad
Hello,
you're reading that.
ladies. Eating dinner, then bath, story time, and bedtime for the little one. Then I'll be reading more of The Nightingale. Oh my gosh, Courtney, are you loving it as much as
I'm
we
so
do?
excited.
It is such a great book. I just loved it so much. It was just amazing. You have to tell us what your initial thoughts are. Like, do you love it so far already? Is it already hooking you, or did it take some time to get into it? We will see. Is that about church? Talia, come to church. Who knows? She's no longer MIA. Good, because we definitely missed you. So, what
I
are
feel like
you?
she may have just started The Nightingale like yesterday. I thought I saw her say that.
I know she also told me that The Women was on her TBR. The Women just wrecked me. Oh my gosh, what a good book. Like I feel like Kristen Hanna can do no wrong. And then the book you're reading, Homefront,
The women wrecked you. You just wait.
is the Homefront even sadder?
It's even more emotional.
Oh
Yeah.
my
In
gosh.
my opinion.
Kristen Hanna just rips your heart out. I'm not a historical fiction reader, but I just started Thursday night and I'm halfway through. I'm loving it. I'm so glad. You know what, Courtney? I'm not technically a big historical fiction reader either, but Kristen Hanna like got me hooked. I love her stuff. She's so good. And then it's so weird to think that Kristen Hanna is the same person who wrote Firefly Lane. It is so different than any of her other work. And the show is so different too.
My thing is too, I feel like people who say they don't like historical fiction have read bad historical fiction.
Yeah,
Because
I agree.
personally, when I think of like Kristen Hanna's books, like those are the types of historical fiction. Like I love historical fiction.
Me
Been
too.
reading it for years. And I feel like if you like a Kristen Hanna book, there are other historical fictions out there that you would enjoy.
Yeah.
Like for instance, you should try Kate Quinn. She's really good.
Yes.
And I just think that people just haven't had a good author yet.
I feel like Kristen Hanna was my first real deep dive into historical fiction, but I have read some others. I can't remember the titles of them right now, but she definitely does it from her perspective. See, historical fiction has to be done in a way that I feel like there has to be a really strong character. And then there has to be also like a really good love relationship going on. So I feel like Kristen Hanna kind of gives you all those things that you want with also the great background that you want too. Kate Quinn is very good. What book of hers have you read?
I love Kate Quinn. I think you should definitely try her, Leah.
I
I
think that
liked
I've been
Alice Network. I really liked Alice Network.
yep.
There's another one I read, and I'm drawing a blank on what it was. Let me look it up on Goodreads.
The Diamond Eye was one we were going to try, I think, with
That
the
was the one I
we
told
did
you had like way too much detail.
Yeah, that's right. You were like, it's way too detailed.
I DNF'd. Oh, the Rose Code. Oh, the
The
Rose Code
Rose.
is so good.
Ooh, okay, I'll have to try that. I'm actually gonna just go ahead
But
while
here's
everyone
her
probably
new
just
one.
add it
Her
to your
new
table.
one that I want to read. And then
Oh, is that the one I got denied for on Netgalley?
yes, me too. And then this one she wrote with someone else. I've heard
Ooh,
really good things about this. I really want to read this one.
that's awesome. Let's
So
see. Talia says she picked 2 books today to start. So was it Delicious Monsters? Was that what it was called? One of
I'm
them.
not even sure, honestly.
Delicious Monsters. Okay,
Like,
so
were you talking about an energy drink or was that the name of your book?
I literally thought it was. So Delicious Monsters is your one that you're reading, and then what's the other one that you're reading? And then also what the heck is a delicious monster book about?
Leah and I are both reading Flawless tonight.
We are. We're
We're
so
in our
excited about
cowboy
it.
era.
We are in our cowboy romance era, and we tried the
Oh,
Icebreaker. I'm still going to try to read it, but Wendy DNF'd it. She did not love it. But look at
the
the
rose code was so good.
okay. I added that right now to my
And I
Goodreads.
have not read The Huntress, but it is on my list.
Ooh, that's awesome. Courtney, what is your, she may be with her kiddos putting them to bed, but what is your favorite genre to read? And then also Talia, what is your favorite genre? I feel like you're all over the place. You're very eclectic and you're
I feel like
like,
she'll read anything.
she'll read anything. She's like Megan. Megan will read anything as well. How is Flawless?
I'm
Courtney
enjoying it.
said.
Leah hasn't started it yet. I'm about, let me see.
I'm just starting it too.
I am on chapter 7, so 70 pages in, and I really like it so far.
I'm
I
so
think it's
excited
really
because
good.
I love like a cowboy Western
Yes.
romance vibe.
And it's like enemies to lovers, which is my favorite trope.
Ooh, I love that. The Inheritance Games is what I will also be reading. Good. I want to see your perspective on it, Talia, because I 3.5 started. I wonder if you're gonna like 5-star it because I know a lot of people really do love it.
Can we just say how excited I am about what everyone is reading
I
tonight?
know everybody's
They're
stuff
like all my favorite books.
except for Delicious Monsters, which we have no
Yeah, whatever that is, Talia.
about.
Read Inheritance Games, whatever that
Delicious
delicious
Monsters
monster.
is like horror-ish.
It sounds horror.
I'm not really sure. Cover looked cool, so I got it. Okay, Talia, what
Was
is
it a arc or did you really just buy that?
also, is it YA or is it middle grade? It sounds like it could be one of those. I read about anything, and I love that my in real life book club has helped me get out of my comfort zone. I
Yes.
don't know why I panic when I see acronyms. I'm like, am I going to know what that is?
Yes,
don't
I
know.
agree. I think,
yeah, me too.
like, honestly, I was only a historical fiction person
Yeah.
until I read Fourth Wing, and that, like, changed everything.
Fourth Wing was the big tipping point for all of us because it was so, so good. That amazing fantasy just like blew my mind. I think that's what got me into fantasy. And then Sarah J. Maas was just the icing on the cake. It was so, so good. But I'm like Courtney. I feel like I'm like you. I read pretty much all genres. I would say I don't read horror or middle grade.
Yeah, horror is about the only thing I don't read, or I don't love
enough.
literary fiction, honestly.
You know what? I tried a lot of literary fiction books, and I think that I actually am kind of sort of bored with them now, and I would lean more towards romance and fantasy.
I do dabble in a little of everything now, though. I feel like I'm more of just like fantasy is definitely my genre with like romance.
Yeah, like
and
romance.
then historical fiction, and then after that, like I'll read a little bit of everything.
I feel like I'm the same. I'm fantasy, romance. Well, I would actually say I'm more romance first. Romance.
You really are.
Literary.
You've become a romance person.
I would say romance, fantasy, thriller, then literary fiction at the very bottom.
Tempest Tea. That's the one on Liv's book club, isn't it? I just joined her Patreon today.
I will try any book once, and I'm such a mood reader that I don't know if I have a favorite genre. I do tend to 5-star fantasy more. Ooh, Delicious Monsters is young adult. I figured it was. The only thing I hate is literary fiction.
I can't say that I've tried enough literary fiction, okay? I tried tomorrow, and I did not like it. And I think I tried one other one that I didn't like, and then they just left a bad taste in my mouth. So I just haven't had a good one. I need a good literary fiction, and then I'll know.
So Yellowface was actually really good.
I really want to read Yellowface.
Yellowface was good.
Is that a literary fiction?
I think it is considered a literary fiction.
And is it the story life of A.J. Fickery? Is that literary fiction?
It is also literary fiction. And then the other one I read was Demon Copperhead, which was also literary fiction. I mean, I liked them. I will say this about literary fiction. I feel like they're very long. They're longer than they need to be.
Those are the two that I want to read then.
was it last week we talked about DNFing books? I finally DNF'd a book. Courtney, you did. Good for you. I've given it 2 different tries and wasn't feeling a tempest of tea. Okay.
That was the question I answered early.
Yes, you did, but I hadn't gotten there yet.
I'm sorry. I have a bad habit of doing that, but that's Liv's book club of her Patreon.
I did that on our first sprint. I would like read ahead on your channel and like be answering questions before you read them. Courtney, good job, because I have a very hard time DNFing anything. Ask Wendy. She's always like, DNF this and DNF that. And I'm like, I can't. I don't care about their problems and them crying. She's talking about literary fiction. She's not an emotional girly in the sense that I guess she likes to read about. Like, I will say this, literary fiction is stacked with a lot of
it's a little more dramatic.
Misfortune. Yeah, it's like misfortune constantly, like a series of unfortunate events constantly. And so you have to be able to handle that. They're always so depressing. I get enough of that in real life. I mean, it's true. I don't think I've actually read a literary fiction book that is not somewhat depressing. It is Liv's book pick. Most other people are liking it though. Courtney, I am so excited because I also joined Liv's and I've heard a lot about The Tempest. Is it A Tempest of Tea?
Tempest Tea.
I kind of feel like it looks a little strange, the cover. I don't know a lot about it. So I'm excited to try it. Hey ladies, I'm at my in-laws. Oh, I figured you would be watching the NCAA tournament suite tonight. So I'll be popping in and out. No problem, girl. Thanks for joining us. Hannah's here too. Hi, sweet friends. Reading Till There Was You by Lindsay Hammeroff and Love Walked Among Us. So Reading Till There Was You. I'm trying to see what book that is. I'm gonna look.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
That romance or is that literary fiction? I'm assuming it's romance because it just sounds like that.
She's gonna buddy read Bad Blood with me next week, and I'm so excited.
Ooh, that's amazing. I'm ready. I'm reading like 5 books like you. So I started the Natural series, but I haven't gotten through the first book. So I'm excited to also finish that. Ooh, that looks pretty. It's a romance.
Is that a romance?
Till There Was You. It does look like a romance book. It says, yeah, it's 2 people who fall in love after their troubled past. That looks awesome. Glad you can join us, Hannah. Talia's back. I'm mad that Leah told me that the housemaid was just like Behind Closed Doors.
Sorry, I'm probably the one that said that, honestly.
Did I? I was going to say,
I think it was me.
I think it was actually, yeah. I think
we're blurring together.
One of us said it, and I feel like we did all agree.
I questioned after I said it if that may have ruined it.
Oh, well. I mean, it didn't really ruin it that much, but maybe they did the same sort of thing, but I don't feel like that's a huge spoiler. I did decide to put down Picking Daisies on Sunday for now and come back to it later. So if I pick something up this evening, it'll be Love Walked Among Us.
I have added Love Walked Among Us to my TBR. I am looking for good Christian recommendations. So
yeah,
you guys all seem to like that book, so I've added it.
I'm excited about that too. And I love it because I told Keisha that Picking Daisies on Sundays, I was going to watch for her rating on that, whether I wanted to read it or not. So I told her that all the pressure was on her. So
don't do that to her. Well, I bought that book already, so you can wait and see what I think too.
No, Leah did at the library. I feel like you're lying. Ruined it. I don't believe you. I will say this. I do have a tendency to spoilers sometimes, but I've gotten traumatized by my friends getting really mad at me about that. So I don't do it anymore.
She really is traumatized. No, I do remember comparing it to Behind Closed Doors because when I read Behind Closed Doors,
did it too.
That's exactly what I thought. And I was like, this is like The Housemaid.
It really is very similar.
But Behind Closed Doors is better.
I think so too. If you guys have not read a really good psychological thriller, B.A. Paris, Behind Closed Doors will give you the heebie-jeebies. It was super chilling. The last line of the whole book blew my mind.
It was really good.
It was really, really good. Courtney says, I am going to have to pick up Love Walked Among Us. Me too. After we finish the Christian nonfiction for our in real life Bible study the next couple of weeks. That's awesome. I am reading John Piper's book, When I Don't Desire God, and it's also really good. So I'm going to have to add Love Walked Among Us to my TBR list too. It's getting so long.
I'm reading Gentle and Lowly. And
forever.
I don't love it. I just feel like it's kind of just mid. It's just stuff that I feel like isn't very groundbreaking, you know? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's taking me way too long to get through this really small book, and I think it's just like when I want a Christian book, I want it to be more in depth and deep.
We've talked about this. It's really hard to find a Christian book that actually has new revelation. Like I feel like a lot of times I pick them up and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just a regurgitation of like every other book I've read. So it's really hard to find someone who's very unique. And I would say for me, Kenneth Hagin has always been phenomenal.
Yes,
I know it's
love
like
Kenneth Hagin.
older style, but I just love it so much. What am I going to do? Not bring coffee anymore? Ever again? Leah, you better bring us coffee.
Prophetic Evangelism, Leah. That one is so good.
What is the author of that again?
And so deep. Sean.
Because you should show that. I think everybody would like
Sean
to see.
Smith. I
Sean
think I
Smith.
have.
Yeah, maybe you have before. So we actually went to Power and Love, which is Todd White, and Sean Smith was the speaker there, and he did phenomenal. I can't stand when Christian nonfiction is just a bunch of jargon in big terms and impersonal. Love Walked Among Us is so personal and digestible. That's awesome. See, I'm going to like it so much. And I also cannot stand that either. When it's just a bunch of terms, or even if a book just has a lot of like theology without a lot of application to your daily life, you know, it's more like a textbook, or it's just more like a sermon, and it doesn't really like kind of teach you what to do in your daily walk with God. So I want books that like are more applying to my life.
Another great one, by the way, everybody, is the Reset.
Yes, I have
Jeremy Riddle. Small book, but it is phenomenal, and I feel like all of you should read it.
Okay, I'm gonna grab a book since you showed one. And then let's talk about how Keisha rated it 2 stars, Gentile Lily.
Yeah, so I have seen that review, Keisha, and I feel very similar. I don't know. I hate to say this, but it's like when you grow up and you're in church your whole life, like you just want a book that has just more info that you haven't heard before. I don't know.
Okay,
but at the same time, like some of it is going to be stuff you've heard before, but I don't know.
The Reset was phenomenal. Jeremy Riddle's Prayer Room CD, by the way, is also, I think that that's actually what he wrote the music when he was writing this book. This is also a really good one. Chris Volaton, Keisha, you will love this because he's Bethel. This is by a really big Bethel speaker. And this is a really, really good book, Spiritual Intelligence. And then also, this is one of my favorite authors. And he wrote The Common Rule and Habits of a Household, and phenomenal books, all of them.
I have to borrow all of them.
You have to borrow all of them. Okay, let's see. I skipped ahead. We are reading What Happens When Women Walk in Faith by Lisa TerKeurst. I love her.
And she was Lisa TerKeurst.
In Pittsburgh, Wendy. We missed her. I'm so sad.
I am reading from her right now on Audible, and I love it. And I keep telling Leah to read it.
I know.
Seeing Beautiful again.
You feel better.
So good.
If it makes you feel better, it's in my Audible. I did buy it. It's in my Audible. I just haven't listened to it yet. So I have to.
It's really
I will
good.
bring Wendy coffee if she didn't read it. Talia, be nice to me. I love you.
Jeremy Riddle is a singer, Hannah. He's a worship leader.
He's at Bethel.
And he was at Bethel.
He was.
Is he still at Bethel?
He left Bethel. He's independent now. I don't really know where he's at.
Yeah.
Jeremy Riddle, though, is like amazing. Has he done anything else? Like works as far as writing? I don't think so. But
she was trying to figure out where he was familiar. That's why I was saying that he was a worship leader.
You love Chris. You met him? Oh my gosh. I'm so jealous. We have a friend who actually went to his entire prophetic classes. And so he adores him. Others I
haven't read anything by Chris.
He's really, really good. And he's in depth, but like also it's just really fresh.
You skipped
Authors
one.
I recommend. Did I skip one?
At least it looks like it on mine. Yeah.
I enjoyed his book, Fashioned to Reign and Destined to Win. Okay, I'm definitely going to have to add that to my TBR because I love him.
Yes.
Others I recommend, Stronger Than the Struggle by Havilah Cunningham or Cunnington. You Are Free by Rebecca Leons and Social Sanity in an Insta World. Okay, so Havilah is actually really awesome because I think it was, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Chris Volaton spoke a word over Havilah and kind of like brought her up because she was supposed to be an author speaker and she didn't have the confidence, and he like gave her the confidence. Tyler won't even let us have coffee. I can't bring anyone any.
She's still on the coffee.
You, girlfriend, need to forgive me for sort of spoiling, not even really, the book and bring me coffee because I love you and I want to give you a big hug. And who
We're
cares
not
what
allowed.
Tyler says?
They
Tyler
have a
says you
sign
can
out
have it,
front
just
now.
not in the sanctuary. We're talking about church rules. God is Good by Bill Johnson, Unglued by Lisa TerKeurst. I just love her. She's so great. And God is Good is also.
I'm going to read more from her for sure. This was actually my first Lisa TerKeurst.
I haven't, I read one of her other books and I think it's Forgiving What You Can't Forget, which was also really good. I like missionary biographies the best. Me too.
I think the one that Anna loves. What's her name?
Oh, Elliot. Elizabeth Elliot. Yes, Elizabeth Elliot. All of her books.
Read Elizabeth Elliot's books. She's a missionary and her books are incredible. I haven't read all of them, but she's really awesome.
I love how we're talking about all the Christian books and I'm going to read my cowboy romance instead.
I know.
I'm still going to read the Christian books though. All right.
I love all the recommends though.
I mean, he's like cowboy romance. Next thing you know, he'll be like walking in with like a cowboy hat. Like, hey, lady. And Tyler's like, I'll put on some spurs.
Some spurs.
Defying Jihad was so good. Oh, what kind of book was that? I don't know if I've heard of that, but that sounds interesting. Who wrote that? I'm excited to read The Hiding Place by Corrie ten Boom this year. I have that in my Audible, and I'm excited to read that as well. Actually,
man, I have a whole list to add to my team.
I know. I already have.
During our sprint, you're gonna just see me like adding to cart.
That's what I did. I like had my Goodreads up, and I just was adding them or looking them up. So, if you, Keisha, have Audible, I do believe that The Hiding Place is in the Audible Plus catalog for free. I'm pretty sure you can check it.
I might have to get Audible back.
Wendy just deleted Audible, so she's a little black. I read one about her friend and her husband that was in a similar situation. Oh, about like missionary biographies. Hannah, I'm part of a missionary Baptist church, and our missionary stories are absolutely incredible when they come home to the States. That's awesome, Hannah. I'm actually part of a missionary family.
I have that book.
Do you? Sweet. I'm part of a missionary family, so our family, we used to all be missionary. Woo, you have it.
I didn't realize that this is what you were talking about. My sister gave me this.
It's in the Audible Plus catalog, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, Hannah, so I used to actually be a missionary. Most of my 20s, I lived in Moscow, Russia. We lived in Hanoi, Vietnam. And so my in-laws are actually missionaries currently in Albania and different parts of Africa they travel to as well. Krista from Books and Jams is doing a read-along. Of it, I think.
Well, I already have the book, so you'll have to send me her stuff, Keisha, so I can join.
Yes, Keisha. Keisha has an amazing, she has an amazing book club called Revive, and she also has a new Christian content series called Delight, and the second video comes out tomorrow on A Book Like You, so you have to check it out. All right, so To a Christian, so it's her journey. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Are you talking about the book Defying Jihad? That's incredible, Leah. Such important work. Thank you. It really was. A lot of what I did.
Like Leah and her family were missionaries like their whole life.
Practically. So from the time I was like, I don't know, like early 20s, I was on the mission field there.
But Tyler was basically full-time his whole life, wasn't he?
My husband grew up on the mission field. So his parents were in Moscow, Russia for coming up on, I don't know. How long were your parents in Russia? 12 years. So he grew up basically in Russia. He speaks fluent Russian, and they do a lot of Bible schools, Bible church planting, humanitarian aid, just everything. It is by Esther Ahmed. Cool. So Defying Jihad is a missionary story. Awesome. I love it. Are we almost ready to sprint? Let's see. It might have blocked my comment because some of the words. I'll text you. Okay, yeah, definitely text me. Let's do it. All right, are you guys ready to sprint? Let's go till, let's see. Let's go to 9 o'clock. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do it. I'm going to put this up. Get our beautiful sprint screen going. I love it. It's very green.
Hopefully there's no commercials.
I hope there's not. I definitely went through the commercials hoping that I got them all out of there. All right. So we'll see you guys back at 9. Bye. Hello, everybody. Wendy, are you there? There you are. I had your mic muted, and then I think you had yourself muted. And when I tried to like unmute you, it said it couldn't because you had to do it.
Whoa, you're echoing.
I'm echoing. Uh-oh. All right, how far did everybody get? I am loving Flawless. It is so good.
Hold on.
Uh-oh. Am I echoing bad? All
yeah,
right.
let me retry it.
Okay. I got, let's see, 3 chapters in.
Okay, it's better now.
Okay. I got 3 chapters in, and I love the aesthetic of Flawless, like the rodeo, the bull riders, the jeans that fit you in all the right places.
The Wranglers.
The cowboy boots, the vibes. I love the boss Kip and his daughter, and I kind of see where this is headed.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like it. I feel like there's going to be forced proximity situations. So I can't wait for that. It's going to be so good. But how far did you get?
2 chapters.
2 chapters. It's pretty good. I think that
Which the chapters are a little longer too.
I will say that they are a little bit longer. What is that? Like maybe 15 pages per chapter or something? About
something like that.
Yeah, I felt like it was a little bit longer too, but I really like that the main character Rhett has like 2 sides. He's like the wild cowboy, like for show with a really like hothead temper, and then he's like himself with his sister Violet, and like she's reminding him to like be himself and not get lost in the shuffle. I really like the dynamics. So Flawless, that me and Wendy are reading, is a cowboy romance, and it's kind of set in Alberta. And it's kind of about this guy who's got a chip on his shoulder. He's a bull rider, and he's like too cool for school, too cool that he doesn't even want to like converse with the people who are trying to sponsor him. Like he wants to pick and choose his own way, but his boss is like your typical boss who just wants every opportunity for you. And his boss has a daughter who you kind of already can tell they're getting gravitated towards each other. So I'm super excited about that. I love it. I love that she has to call her father by his name at the rodeo.
I love that it's in Canada too. I don't know why.
Too.
I just like that.
Canadian vibes. It's really cool. And I like
Did you ever watch Wildfire?
I don't think so. Mm-mm.
It's a show, and it's where this girl has to go to like a horse ranch. And I love that show, and I don't know why. This just reminds me of it.
Is it kind of younger, like teenagers, or is it older?
Let me show you a picture.
I kind of feel like it sounds familiar. By the way, I was probably cracking everybody up because I was like eating cookies the whole time I was reading.
I didn't notice. I was actually into my book, and
me too. I was also eating.
I was eating chips.
These are so good. They're called Candy Blasts.
Have you ever seen that?
I haven't. I'll have to check that out.
I loved that show. I've seen it like a few times. I really loved it.
I'm gonna have to check it out. Have you watched a movie about like a cowboy romance in a while? I feel like I can't.
No, never actually.
I think the longest ride. Hi, baby. You're going to bed? Hold on. My daughter's going to bed. I'm going to say goodnight to her. You can. It's okay. Good night. I think it's called The Longest Ride, right? By Nicholas Sparks. Wasn't that a movie? I think it might have been. Anyway, I haven't watched it in a very long time, but I think that there's a few. If you know of a very good cowboy romance movie, you should put it in the comments. All right, let's see what everybody's up to. Hi, ladies. I almost missed these sprints. I'm so glad that you didn't. I finished Mrs. Nash's Ashes. Ooh, that's very rhymey. And now I'm reading Magnolia Parks Into the Dark. Okay, so we are starting Magnolia Parks as well, and we're super excited about it. I have the first book that I just got, which I think I'm going to let you borrow first because I have a lot to read this month with Throne of Glass. So I'm going to bring that tomorrow. She says, hello, welcome. Hola. Had story time with my little guy, and put him to bed, so I only read 15 pages. Hey, you're doing the most important work, Courtney. Seriously, I just said good night to my little one too. So that's awesome. 15 pages is pretty good. You're on page 36. Is this Delicious Monsters?
We keep making
I
fun
just
of it.
can't stop saying it. Okay, guys, just
Or please read the Inheritance Games. I want to know what you
please
think
read
about
that. Guys, I'm so curious. I can't stop thinking about what Delicious Monsters looks like. So I'm
She's
going to
probably
look.
told us like 5 times, but I just keep
She
blanking.
says it looks horrorish. I want to see
Oh
what
yeah, horror.
like it really does. Okay, so I found it. This is what it looks like. It looks
No,
crazy.
thank you. I'm not reading that.
It looks like evil and paranormal, and like her fingers are tree branches.
I can't do horror.
It has like what is it, Moana Tafiti vibes, where she turns into like a big hill. All right, let's see. Watching the Tennessee versus Texas basketball game. Sweet. No real updates here, just hanging. That's awesome that you get to see your in-laws every weekend. That's kind of what my situation was when I was like first married. We would go over to my in-laws all the time and we would watch Everybody Loves Raymond and Frasier all the time. Such great shows. And we would just hang with them. Yes, it is. I'm assuming that you're meaning your book.
Read Inheritance Games.
Read it. So, like, has anybody else read Inheritance Games? I think
Anna has, I think.
I think she has. I made a huge mistake. I read Inheritance Games right after Assassin's Blade. And so I kind of feel like I had really high
Just
hopes.
try the second one.
I know. I need to try the second one. I had it actually from the library, but then I got so behind on all my other reading that I had to return it.
I feel like the second one a lot of people like better.
This is so sad because I actually had that book on hold for 4 months and then I got it and didn't get to finish it. So it's so sad. I don't go every weekend, but since I made a March Madness bracket, sweet, and we were having enchiladas for dinner, ooh, I decided this was a good weekend to go. So are you a big Mexican food fan? Because if you don't know me very well, tacos are my life.
It's me and Lynn's favorite food.
Me and Wendy are like obsessed with Mexican food, and we have to fight Megan because every time we like want to suggest where to go eat, she's like, "Ew, I don't like Mexican food," and I'm like, she says she likes it, but she only likes it if it's like, I don't even know, like novelty Mexican.
It has to be like legitimate, authentic Mexican.
Like legitimate, authentic, and also maybe high-end Mexican. But I just like your
We don't have that here. It's West Virginia.
We don't. We just like our typical
So we like the trash
Mexican. We like the trash Mexican restaurants. And it's funny because they actually know us really well. I go in and they're like, "Hi, Leah, where are your kids?"
But this one is spooky. Are you going to continue it, Talia?
Ooh. I have not read a spooky book in a very long time. It's been forever. However, I did find a cover of a book that you told me about that creeped me out a little bit because I feel like it looks scary. I'm going to show you. You were talking to me about this book and I told you that I had it and you were like, "When did you get it?" Is this the one that you were telling me about, Blood Air?
Oh, yeah. I want to read that because Yvette loves it.
Can we just talk about
it? Does look creepy. But she loves it and I have to try it. Because as Keisha said, I'm heavily influenced.
You are. I'm heavily influenced.
If somebody says a book's good, I'm like, I'm going to try it.
Literally. So I forget, is it Sorry Fully Booked? I think that's her channel, Jordan, that was on their sprint before with Keisha. I went to her channel and I saw all of her like the upcoming books for April in May. And I was like, there's so much that I need to get now. Like I'm so easily influenced by everyone too. And I feel like my TBR just keeps growing and growing because I have FOMO. It's not good.
It's a bad thing to follow FOMO.
I feel like most people love Mexican. You would think so. Unless
you're weird.
I agree. Thank you, Keisha. If you don't like Mexican, something's wrong with you. But we have some good, authentic places that I enjoy. Nice. And my mother-in-law makes good food too. Ooh, even though it's Americanized. I feel like I really do like Tex-Mex. Like I don't care if it's super original. What is it? Like original Mexican food is like what? Fish tacos, right?
I don't know.
I think it's like fish tacos and a lot of like
spicy.
It's spicy, but it's also, I think, more seafood driven.
Isn't it really spicy though if you actually were to go eat it overseas?
I think it is very spicy if you were to actually have authentic Mexican food, especially the dip and like the salsa. So, but I am also like a huge Mexican food girly. Keisha, I kind of feel like that is life, and I would go there every single day.
I can't have super spicy. I get acid reflux.
You know what?
I wish I could.
I don't love spicy food either, but Tyler made like a spicy rigatoni, the one I sent you, and you're like, "This is not a dinner." Guys, we had this problem. Okay, Megan has all these recipes, and she's like, "They're so good." And then Wendy copies all of her recipes, and she's like, "Give me recipes." And she follows all of Megan's, but then I give Wendy recipes, and she's like, "Why is pasta your main course?" And she
That was Megan that said that.
Yeah. Well, you agree with her. You're like, "I need a protein." I feel like pasta can be its own dinner. Yvette loves that book, Leah. Good. I'm excited. Where did it go? Where did I put it? It's really big. How many pages does this book have? Well, then again, what am I saying? I've read Akatar, and Kingdom of Ash is like a bazillion pages long. That's a hefty book.
How many pages?
A bajillion.
You didn't even count.
I think it has like what? Doesn't it have like 900? This one has
900.
Is that Kingdom of Ash? Is that?
I was like, are you saying that's 900? That's not.
No,
900.
this is actually almost 500. So it just must be
like there's no way.
No, this is only 500. I guess that's not too bad. You're really good about knocking out really, really big books. I am not. I'm all about the spicy food. Really? What do you love that's spicy? I feel like I don't love spicy food. I could take it or leave it. I remember being heavily influenced when I first started watching BookTube. Me too. Now that I have learned who has similar or opposite reading tastes as me, I tend to mainly add from those videos. Courtney, when I go on BookTube, I don't even know, my Goodreads just like weighs with the heaviness. Like I just add so many books. It is so stressful. And then I'm like, oh, I have like 800 things to read now.
I will say too, NetGalley was kind of adding to that for us because we got approved for a bunch of books.
Yep.
And ended up not liking a ton of them. So I'm no longer really invested in NetGalley.
Does anybody else love NetGalley? I could talk all day about my bitterness towards NetGalley. If they were a physical place, I would egg them. I'm so mad at NetGalley. I know it's not really NetGalley. It's actually the publishers. So the people who run the platform NetGalley don't have much to do with it at all. It is the publishers who choose, but they all hate me. I've been denied for everything. But to be fair, when I joined, I like tried to get every book possible.
I feel like there's really no rhyme or reason to it, honestly.
Yeah. Like, has anybody been denied for a book on NetGalley they really wanted and you have a vendetta like me? And if so, let's join forces. Let's bring them down. Let's crash their platform. I love chimichangas. Me too. Oh my gosh. I would say, what's your favorite, Wendy? I would say mine is enchiladas and chimichangas. What do you get usually?
Well, you know me. I get the most basic plain thing at the Mexican restaurant.
Like a basic beef taco.
I get a beef burrito with rice and beans. It's my favorite.
With like no sauce.
With queso all over it.
My kids love queso.
Super healthy for you.
Hey, I mean, that's just what you got to do. I love Mexican food. I love all the queso and everything. And my kids are actually obsessed with queso. But then like queso's expensive. So I don't want to order a bunch of them. But then I get a queso for the family and my kids are like, like eating and it's like dripping out of their mouth back into the bowl. And I'm like, so I haven't actually gotten my own queso in a while. I need to just go periodically. And you should do this too. Periodically, I will go by myself out to eat for dinner so I can eat slowly and savor it.
No, I don't do that. Unless it's fast food. I mean, I'll go through the drive-through.
I literally will go out and like sit down to dinner by myself. It's fun. I have been working on getting my percentage up. Good for you, Courtney. I gave up. I have recently only been requesting books I would actually want to read. I only have one that is still to be released, to be read and reviewed. The other 10 have already been published, so I'm not super rushed to get them reviewed, but I still want to get my percentage up. Good for you, Courtney.
I have like 5, so I will eventually finish them, but I've kind of pushed them to the side because I was sick of reading books I hated.
I pushed them to the side indefinitely.
Because I was like, I'll get back to it, but like, I just want to read what I want to read.
Me too. I really want to read the Book of Love. I will say that has been like standing out to me because I've heard it's really good. I have that on there. And there's a couple other books I have on there that are like rom-coms that I now want to get to. I used to work at a Mexican restaurant. I would love that. I can eat anything off the menu. Keisha, do you want to hear something funny? I went to a Mexican restaurant near my best friend Megan's house, and there was a guy there that was just like a regular American guy, and he was putting on a Hispanic accent when he was waitressing. He was like, "Oh, is this order for you? Blah 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 blah." And he like literally was not Hispanic at all, because I heard him turning and talking normally to someone else. He was like treating it like a theatrical performance. It was really awkward. I thought that was so funny. Oh, I already
Oh,
read
you
that
read
one.
that one already.
Mhm.
You see, the problem is I have DNF'd several already.
Wendy is the queen of DNF. Keisha, you thought it was you. It's actually Wendy.
It's me.
It's Wendy is like DNF this and DNF that.
After
DNF
like 4 chapters, I'm like, nah, I'm not feeling this.
the first book of the series that my friend got me the second book for. Who cares?
Okay, I got to 150 pages of that.
That's true.
It's
You
not
did.
like I didn't read that much.
You did really try. You can still rate them even if you don't finish them. Just put why you DNF the book. We have.
We've done a lot of that. And I think NetGalley now is like, don't give them books because they just,
I'm sort of white lied. I've been like, oh, this wasn't my favorite book, but I didn't really read it a lot. I just can't with NetGalley. I could seriously sit on here for the next 50 minutes and talk about how
let's move on.
I have personally written the administrator of NetGalley to complain. So,
oh gosh.
I have a lot.
lot.
What do you have a lot
of? We know Talia and NetGalley books.
Oh, Talia's percentage is like what? Like 10?
Point 0.0007.
I used to get a rush when I would get a NetGalley notification. Like it was like crack to me. I was like, oh my gosh, NetGalley. And now it's like I get nothing but rejection. And it's like
I did get a Kristen Hanna book, and that was like my only good one.
Oh, I was gonna say recently or just the women.
Oh, and the rom-commers. Okay, so I got 2 books that I adored off NetGalley. I felt like I really scored with those. Oh, and Book of Doors was pretty good.
Oh yeah, that's true. Book of Doors was really good. The rom-commers was excellent, but thank God for Catherine Center, who told us about it being on.
That's only because it was on Read Now.
Yes,
we didn't get approved.
Can I give you some advice though? Anybody who wants a book they're getting denied for, if there is an audio version, go ahead. If you have been denied for the physical form or the digital, also request the audio. They denied me for the women in Kindle, but then they approved me for the audiobook. So I was like, I beat the system.
I don't know how that worked for you because they deny me for every audiobook.
I don't know. Maybe they just know I'm an audiobook girly. They just know.
Like always.
100%. I would say I don't know.
That's a lot better than I thought, Talia.
That is a lot better. I would say for audiobooks, I used to be 80-20. So 80% I would read physical and 20% I would do audio. Now I feel like I'm like 60-40. Like 40% audiobook, 60%.
You are. I don't think you're that bad.
I don't think I'm that bad either. I'm just trying to.
I am 65%.
It's a hyperbole.
And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books that I need to review.
All right, let's
a couple of them are already out.
Let's bring up the receipts. I'm gonna see what mine is.
The receipts.
That's what they call it. The proof. Let's see the receipts here. The proof. I'm at 62% because I DNF'd.
I didn't think you were that bad.
I'm at 62%. However, how many books do I have to read? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I have 17 books to read.
Oh, but I'm pretty sure that Talia has you beat there.
Talia has like 80,000 books. I'm excited because I just got Courtney Walsh's new book. That's awesome. That comes out in the summer. That and another Christian fiction.
You're so lucky.
Author and my two proudest approvals. Awesome, Courtney. Also, what book is it? Because that sounds exciting.
Yeah, Kristen Hanna was my proudest approval.
My proudest.
I can't count Catherine Center because it was on Read Now.
That's true. My proudest approval was also Kristen Hanna, but only because I groveled. They probably just gave me the audiobook because I wrote the administrator of NetGalley to complain. It's fine.
You're such a Karen.
I will say I can be a Karen. It is a problem that I have. If I feel like someone's getting special treatment and I'm not, I get mad. She's laughing at us. She thinks we're funny. We like to be funny. I've reviewed 33 books, though. How many have I reviewed?
She has 106 to read.
Holy crap, Talia. 106 to read?
Talia, at this point, I would just give up.
I have 45 approved. So in 28 feedback. I gave 28 books as a feedback. Most of them were kids' books, let's be honest.
Yeah, but see, if you keep requesting books, it won't help.
Yeah, it doesn't help. I can't keep up with books as it is. The only thing I request on NetGalley is graphic novels. Plus, I prefer physical arcs. Me too, Keisha. Me and Wendy were talking about this. We're getting kind of tired of digital stuff. We really want that feel of a physical book in our hands rather than a Kindle. We just want the feel. So we've been trying to get more physical books as well. I would prefer physical arcs, and that's why I tried to subscribe to the Dutton books and also Berkeley Publishing to try to get on their ARC train. But of course, they denied me.
I feel like I just kind of go back and forth, but in the moment, I'm just in the mood for physical copies.
I'm in the mood for physical right now too. Love in Tandem by Becca Kinzer. She
That's what I'm
writes
looking up.
That's awesome.
Is it on NetGalley, Keisha? Is that what you're saying? Or are you just talking about?
Okay, I miss it. Maybe I'm behind on comments. I just read them when I feel like it. Spoiler alert, we're going to be reading Becca Kinzer's first book for Revive in May. Sweet. Called Love in Tandem. Awesome. Okay, wait. I have to add that to my Goodreads as well.
Oh, it's on there. I'm going to request it, but I probably won't get approved, Keisha.
We'll try. Hey, so am I. I'm going to do it. Where is it at again?
Is it called Love in Tandem? Is that what it is?
Love in Tandem. I'm going to find it. I'm not going to.
Okay. That's obviously not what we were talking about.
I will say this. I did.
Oh.
Are you reading ahead?
Okay. I'm lost. Sorry. There's two, Keisha. Which one are you talking about? There's two on NetGalley.
Yeah. Once you find out, I'm going to go and. Are they on read now, or do you have to ask for them?
No, you have to ask. So I won't get approved.
I was going to say I'm going to ask, but I'm not going to either.
I'm just going to request both of them, but I won't get them.
I'm going to request them. Tell me what they are again. I know Love in Tandem is one. And then
just search the author. That's what I did. Becca Kinzer.
Okay. I got that Courtney Walsh book, so they must not care too much.
Oh, Dear Henry, Love Edith isn't on there anymore. It's archived.
You got the Courtney Walsh book? Talia, they love you. I'm just, why?
Yeah, she denied me. Boo. Courtney Walsh denied me.
I get denied.
I'm bitter.
The hardest hit though for me was when I got denied for the Allie Hazelwood book coming out, and I was like, really? Like, I just 5-starred your book. Offended.
There's another Courtney Walsh out.
There is.
I didn't request this one yet.
Summer of Yes. Sweet.
Yeah, that's new.
Okay, I'm
definitely. But I got denied for her last one, My Lucky Charm.
Same. But I have it in the mail, so who cares? I have been on an ebook kick. Ooh, just since my toddler loved to cuddle. And it's so much easier with an ebook since he wiggles a lot. That's super cute. Courtney, I love you're such a great mom.
I do love Kindles at night.
Me too. So does Tyler, because I don't keep the light on, my husband. Dear Henry, Love Edith is her first one. Awesome. And then Love in Tandem is her newest. Sweet. Yay. I loved her first one, Dear Henry, Love Edith. That sounds so great. Great. I tried to say like great and some other word. Came out as great. I think I was trying to say great and cool. Courtney, I've heard great things. It sounds so cute. Fun. We're going to have... You guys are not helping with me and Wendy's TBR being super long. You're not helping.
Because we are heavily influenced.
You're heavily influenced. That's when I got the new one. The Summer of Yes is what you got. Talia, how do you... my percentage is at 62 and yours is at 24. They just hate me.
I don't understand that at all.
I don't get it either. Like, it's just so offensive.
All right.
Let's sprint again. All right. Do we want to sprint? Let's go ahead and sprint till 10 and then come back and talk for about 5 minutes and then go to bed. I have church tomorrow. Maybe you guys do too. Sound good?
Yep.
All right, let's sprint. Going to bring up the banner. Get our ambiance going. All right. Hi, everybody. Oops, not that one. Hey, everybody. How did everybody do on that sprint? Did you get far in your books?
Almost 3 chapters.
You did? I almost got 3 chapters done too. I was in the middle of my 3rd chapter. Well, not middle, maybe a little bit further than that, but I love it. I really like Summer in the story. I think she's so like kick butt, and I just really like Rhett's dad as well. I love the characters. I feel like
Me
all the
too.
characters are really rich and they all have their specific like charm about them. So I think it's really great. Courtney said she read 30 pages that sprint. That's great.
Awesome.
Yay.
Are you still enjoying it, Courtney?
Yes. Are you loving it? By the way, I would say The Nightingale is still maybe my favorite over The Women. I don't know. It's very hard, but I would say it's still my favorite. What I loved about The Nightingale is that there were like multiple kind of love stories going on and lots of like change and coming of age. And I thought it was really,
I just felt like the story was more epic.
it was
Personally,
really
the plot, everything was just epic.
yeah. And I do love
You've got to read Four Winds. It's another really, really, really good one.
So a girl in my homeschool group said that's her favorite book. So I'm excited. That's on my list. It's on my shelf. So I'll have to get
Especially
to it.
because I had never read anything about the Great Depression. And so it was just very eye-opening.
I am really enjoying it. Tough to read at times, but so good. It is really tough to read, specifically when the invasion happens and people are getting hurt and things are changing very rapidly. It was really hard to read. There were some difficult scenes. And actually towards the end were some really heartbreaking scenes. So you definitely want to remember that it's not really a uplifting, lighthearted read. It's definitely in the trenches kind of historical fiction, but it's still really good. I got distracted for a while. That's okay. I got distracted somewhat too. I was writing Megan. She wrote me and she said she was out to dinner. And so as I was reading, I also just a couple of times got on.
Well, I had turned off my camera because I had to sit on the floor. This chair just gets uncomfortable after a while. So if anybody was wondering where I went, I was still here. I just
Wendy
needed
was
to move.
like, I'm on the floor because my butt hurts in this chair. I'm like, I totally get it.
It does. It just, I mean, it's not that amazing of a chair.
I'm on my couch, so I'm really comfortable. Then I got my kitty cat over here just keeping me company and chilling.
I need a better office chair.
I brought this huge table over to my couch so I could be comfy. I can't believe I am saying this, but I might have to start prioritizing her backlist.
Yes.
Maybe that's my goal for next year. I think so too. Wendy's reading The Home Front, which is also like more of her backlist.
It's on her backlist. I didn't realize that, but it is okay. I can't decide if it's as good as The Woman or not. You would have to read it. But
it's actually broaching being like as good as The Women. I'm
almost as good as The Woman. I can't decide. I don't know. I almost like it better because it just has been really emotional to read for me.
You love emotional reading.
Whereas The Women, I feel like I loved the first half. And I feel like if that had continued, I would have gave it a 5-star. But I feel like the last half was, I don't know, it became a little bit unrealistic to me because there were just so many things happening. Whereas this one, I almost think it's leaning towards a 5-star because it is so realistic. And I feel like it really plays on family dynamics and the struggles of what families have to go through in the military. And it's just a really, really good read. I really think that anybody should read it. So this is following,
is it?
She goes into Iraq.
Okay.
So, I read Four Winds, 5-starred it, and I read The Great Alone. I actually did not love it like everyone. I gave that one 3 stars, maybe 4. But yes, I am working on her backlist.
That's awesome. I want to work on her backlist too. Somebody told me about The Four Winds, but they also said The Great Alone was their favorite book. And I remembered you saying you didn't love it as much. So
a lot do love it. I just thought it was just gone way too long.
Your phone died. You got 45 pages, and man, you read really fast. It's awesome.
She really does read fast.
What was it, like 70 pages she read during a sprint? That was what, like 45 minutes or something? And I was like,
I feel like she's very fast, and I'm very slow apparently.
I am too. I feel like, well, okay, so if each chapter is about like 15, right? Do you think it's about 15? So I'm reading like
Yeah,
15.
and unless I read Audible, like Audible maybe sometimes it's faster, but I don't know. I used to think I was a fast reader, but since being on sprints with people that read all the time, I'm like,
I
I don't
know.
think I am.
They put me to
I
shame.
feel like
Like they're like, "Oh, I read 100 pages that sprint." And I'm like, "You
and I'm
did?"
like, I read 25.
I read some like 20% of that. Sorry. That's funny. Finished a chapter of Love Walked Among Us. That's awesome, Keisha. I can't wait to read that book. It sounds like
Me
it's
too.
really
You guys
good.
act like you all love it, so I'm definitely gonna get it.
Yeah. Like we said earlier in the sprint, it's hard to find a good Christian book that just draws you in and keeps your attention, but also like reveals something new to you. So she has written a ton of books. I didn't realize how many until I saw the list in this book, which was published in 2015. But there are even more besides that, just the women that aren't on this list. So yes, there's a
Oh,
lot of books that she's written.
there's 2 that I forgot to mention. I read, Firefly Lane. Is that what it's called?
Yes, you read that?
Which is a Netflix show. I read that book. It was really good. Not my favorite though. I think I 4-starred it, maybe three
It
and a
was
half. And
hard.
then I read The Winter Garden, which was another 5-star for me. That was really, really good.
I want to read Magic Hour as well because I heard that was
Yes.
really
I
good.
think I have that.
I think you
No.
do have that. I almost,
No, it's on my book wish list.
you know
I
who
have
has
Home
it?
Again.
Megan has it. Megan has it
She
because
does?
I went to buy it and I remembered I saw it. And I think it was Megan who got it. She found it at the library.
I have Home Again and On Mystic Lake.
Okay. I have on Mystic Lake too, I think, maybe. But anyway, we are big Kristen Hannah fans. We love Kristen Hannah. I would
Love
say
her.
that she just writes in such a way to where like it's heavy themes, but she gives you breathe easy moments where it's not so heavy the whole time. And there are other writers like maybe Emily Henry, because I don't think you loved Happy Place. Happy Place was kind of heavy atmospheric the whole time. And then a book that shocked me that had a heavy atmosphere was actually The 7-Year Slip. And I think Keisha, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you DNF'd it. But I felt like it was just really heavy from the beginning, and it has some trigger warning moments where like there's loss in a very tragic way. And I was like, this is not what I thought it was going to be.
I don't mind if it's heavy if I expect that going in. I think with
Right.
Happy Place, that's not what I went in wanting to read.
Well, Happy Place is a deceptive.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like a rom-com, so that just really threw me off.
I think I told you this already when I was recounting how much I loved it. But what I really loved was the representation of divorce by her one friend, Sabrina. And she also talked about like, even if something falls apart, the making of it still mattered. And I loved that because I felt like that really applied to me being a child of divorce. There were a lot of like heavier elements in that book that I just thought were really, really good to address. But is it Ashley Poston or Ashley Poston? It's Poston. Right?
I think it's Poston.
My cat's directing.
Somebody correct us if we're wrong.
Yeah, I think
I haven't read any of her yet. I have the 7-Year Slip back there. But I haven't read it yet.
I want to try her book, The Dead Romantics, because
I have that too.
Yeah, you have that. I want to try her again because I will say, even though her book was a little bit heavy, kind of like Kristen Hannah's books, the writing is beautiful. And if I was going to annotate anything, it would be Kristen Hannah.
That's my thing with Kristen Hannah is she just is such a good writer. Like she really brings the emotions out in a book.
Yeah, she really
and
does.
Makes you feel like what they're feeling.
It's so
and
poetic.
She really does her research like on
She
every book.
Yep.
You can tell like she knows what she's talking about.
I kind of feel like she reminds me of someone who would have been an amazing research journalist. Like maybe she has a background in that because she really does do her homework. And also, I think it was on The Women, she interviewed so many real life people who had gone through the Vietnam War. And so I feel like she has a really good perspective on all of her books. So I'm getting into my maybe a little bit historical fiction era with her. And then maybe I'll try Kate Quinn. My TBR list got so long tonight. I was looking at,
Well,
I also,
I was
there.
gonna say the end of all of Kristen Hanna's books, she'll have, like, a whole section
Mhm.
where she describes, like, the actual real life stuff that she took her story from, which I
Yeah.
always think is pretty cool.
On the audiobook that I listened to, there was a speech that she did at the very end that kind of recounted all of her research and different things, which I really like. Also cool, and I know you told me about this, and I know everybody probably knows about this, but I have been enjoying playlists on Spotify for specific books. So there's like a playlist, but like
Oh,
music
yeah.
playlist.
Lots of people do that. I can't listen to music while reading, it messes me up.
I just think it's so cool. Like the one for Bride had a lot of the same music from Twilight. And like just some of these books that have I think the 7-Year Slip also has a playlist. So it's just like really cool to like see the playlist and go and find it in Spotify. And sometimes it's actually in the book too at the very beginning, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, a lot of people love doing that, but I just can't. I can't focus.
Yeah. Well, I like it if it's very calming music. Like I said, I think one
Yeah,
other
if it's
time.
super, like, low key maybe or
Yeah.
instrumental, but if somebody's singing, like, I couldn't do that.
So I think I told you about this. There's a TikToker who does sprints all the time and she listens to like river dance, like Irish music that's like so obnoxious.
Maybe classical.
It's just a lot. I can listen to instrumental music while I read, but nothing with words. Same. I feel like it has to be
Yeah, I can't have
really
words.
chill. It has to be like instrumental, guitar, violin, something piano. They're fun in the car when I don't want an audiobook. Yeah, see, you don't always have to listen to the playlist while you're reading. You can just kind of like it's like an aesthetic
Yeah.
kind of. By the way, do you love doing like I love when other people do it. I haven't done it yet, but when they do aesthetic posts about different books and you know what I'm saying? Like they'll
Like
like,
staging? What do you mean?
well, it's like an aesthetic post. So like for the book Flawless, they would find all these pictures that kind of remind them of the book and they're
Oh,
going to
I've
put
never
them
seen that.
together in like a carousel where we flip through multiple pictures of the aesthetic of the book, which I think is super cool.
I've only seen
I love
people, like,
that.
stage around the book with, like, themed things.
They do that too, but this
You know
is
what I
more of
mean? Like
yeah,
a cowboy hat with, like, you
right.
know.
Yeah, but this is more like finding pictures that remind you of the book or whatever, so it's almost like you're in the aesthetic feel of the book, which is really fun. So, I've been seeing a lot of those actually for Flawless, which is fun. I love this book so far. Are you loving it?
I really like it, yes. I
I
was,
love
like,
it.
very pleasantly surprised because you know me, like, I like minimal to no spice, and I
Mhm.
know that eventually it'll get there, but so far chapter, um I'm on chapter 11
I'm
so
on chapter
far,
8.
and, I mean, it's just focusing on the story, and I really like that. It's like I said, if it's in there, it's okay if I can just, like, have an actual story that
Yeah.
I'm enjoying, because even if I wanted to just skip over it, I could skip over it, but, like,
Yeah.
with Icebreaker, my problem was, like, there was no other story going
It
on
was all
for
that.
me for me to even be invested, and I was 150 pages
Yeah.
in, and that's all they
That's
talked
pretty
about.
that's pretty far to get in a book where
Yeah.
you feel like
I'm
there's
like,
just
I'm not
nothing
even
much.
invested in their story or anything because all
Yeah.
they've talked about is this, which
Yep,
I'm
I
like,
agree. What about anybody in the comments? Like, do you like spice in books or do you like more of a closed door? Now, for me, I would say I get in moody moods where sometimes I'm like, I want more spice in the book, especially if it's like young adult. I'm like, I want more to happen. But then there are times where, I don't know, Sarah Adams just really, Sarah Adams is my
I
Courtney
love
Love
Sarah
Misha.
Adams. Sarah Adams the way that Sarah Adams writes,
Yeah, it's like
I
romantic.
it's all just so well done
It's well done, it's romantic, and When in Rome specifically,
and
I felt
passionate
like it was
still.
yeah, it was passionate, but, like, it was almost, like, cherishing and, like, I don't know, very dignified. I just really
Yeah.
liked it, and so I feel like Sarah
And
Adams also
Catherine Center too, on,
oh,
the
yeah,
rom-commers,
yeah,
that was so well done, like, you felt the passion, but it was still clean. It
yep.
was just excellent.
Speaking of, Catherine Center, I still haven't gotten my bookmark.
That's so weird.
I know. I'm so sad. So
I wonder if she ran out
Catherine
because she
Center
probably only had so many of them.
Catherine Center posted on Instagram, send a envelope with your address and I'll send you a bookmark with the theme. Do you have it to
I
show?
don't, not
With
upstairs.
the
I think
theme
it's
of the
downstairs.
book, the rom-commers. And I sent her I went overboard. I sent her this nice thank you card with a handwritten
I
note.
definitely sent a note too. I'm sure everybody did.
I sent a note and stickers and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, please
Just
love me.
fangirling.
I was totally fangirling. And I was like, you're
Please
the
love
most
me.
responsive, amazing author in the world. I love you. And so, anyway.
Yeah, and if I got a letter from Sarah J. Maas, I would die.
Anyone would die. Yes, I would die too. By the way,
It's like Hannah driving, 9 hours to see Riley Sager? I would do that for Sarah J. Maas.
Yeah, I think I would drive even further to see Sarah J. Maas. I totally would. I was listening to somebody, and I'm not sure who it was. It might have been Gwen. I think it was Gwen's YouTube, and she was talking about Happiness for Beginners, which is Catherine Center's book as well. And it sounds really cool. So it's basically about this girl who was going through a big change of life.
Oh, I watched that on Netflix.
Yeah, did you watch it? Okay, so
Mhm.
is it good? Did you like the movie or
I
is it
thought
a
it was
show?
okay.
That's
It's a movie on Netflix. It's just okay.
That's what she said, I think. She said it was just okay. There were parts of it that good parts in the book that they left out, but I'm really excited to try that because that's supposed to be one of her more maybe rom-commy, even more type of stories. So I'm excited about it. Oh, I thought I had more comments, but it's just Talia. I actually love I love listening to audiobooks as well. Does anyone else, we talked about this earlier about audiobooks, but does anyone else love audiobooks over reading sometimes, or do you just kind of dual? Sometimes you'll listen and then sometimes you'll read. Does anyone else like it? I know you
I
do.
just dual. Yeah, I don't prefer audiobooks. I prefer actually reading. I think I get the most enjoyment that way.
Mhm.
I feel like audiobook, it's almost like I'm not as immersed in the story.
Yeah.
And I don't get as much out of it, and I feel like sometimes I've rated lower because of that. But I do like it if I am, having to cook or clean or something, and I just wanna keep continuing with that book, I'll switch back and forth.
I kind of think that if I had listened to Inheritance Games versus read it, I would have liked it more. Because
I didn't like the audio of Inheritance Games.
I feel like it could have been dramatized so well. And I was laughing my head off when Keisha was talking in our sprints for Bows and Books about the dramatized version of ACOTAR. Because remember how I told you I listened to the book 5 dramatized version parts? And it was so whoo. And I remember listening to it really loud in my headphones. And Tyler was like, what are you listening to? And I was like, turning down the volume.
If I do dramatize, I'm gonna try Red Rising again. They have dramatized for all of them, and I thought maybe that'll hold my attention if I do the drama.
I mean, I'm listening to Red Rising on Audible because it was on my Plus catalog, and I love his Irish accent, and it's not dramatized, but it's just regular, and I really liked it. You usually tandem read audio and physical book if it's available. I do the same thing. So if I can find both, I will tandem read as well. So I can do listening when I'm doing chores, and then I can just sit down and read when I have time.
But I think they're talking about listening while reading at the same time.
Oh, are we back?
If I'm wrong, Keisha.
Maybe. Yes, maybe we went over there to that.
No, because I think that's what she's saying, and then Courtney said that next. I've heard of a lot of people doing that where they listen while they're reading, and it just
cannot do that. I could never.
It helps them stay focused.
Wow. See, for me, I feel like it's really distracting, but that's really cool that you can do that. I mean,
yeah, that's what she
try
meant.
it again. So you actually listen to the audio while reading it. Wow. I tandem a lot audio while reading along. Wow. Okay. You say it helps your brain focus. I feel like it would make my brain explode. It would be too many things at one time. I don't often get sensory overloaded, but I would say that's probably one of those moments where I would feel that way. I feel like I get more out of it and comprehend, visualize more when I tend to read. I mean, maybe I'm just missing out and I need to try it again. I feel like I've never.
I mean, I don't normally do that, but I can see why people would like it.
I mean, I accidentally did that one time because I was trying to find my place in the audiobook while looking at the book to see where I left off because I couldn't remember. And just those few seconds of like reading while hearing, I was like, so I don't know. For the longest time, I only would listen to an audiobook in the car, but I have recently enjoyed listening to thrillers while walking. That's awesome. Ooh. I don't know if I would listen to a thriller while walking.
That would creep me out.
I would be like, yeah.
Outside.
I have made the mistake though, of listening to a thriller while Tyler was gone and I was home alone. And I was like, every noise and every shadow, it scares me. Like, actually, I think it was The Last Word by Taylor Adams that I listened to a lot of that while Tyler was gone. I was like so scared, especially like the part where she sees him on the camera or something. So that was not cool. Otherwise, I prefer physical books or ebooks. Me too. I think I would probably ultimately prefer a physical book. That's been my jive recently. Right, listening while reading along at the same time. I kind of feel like it takes a special mind to do that, Keisha. You must have like a really high IQ. like, I feel like
because that determines your brain.
I feel like reading and listening is a beautiful mind moment. Like it's one of those.
That's so funny.
It's Rain Man stuff. Like it's impressive. It's really cool. I agree with Keisha. You guys, you're just.
Maybe she just doesn't have ADHD.
I feel like maybe
you. That's why you like start 4 chapters and switch a book, and you're in the middle of like 10 books.
You want to hear something funny, which is kind of embarrassing, but it's a little funny. We all know that Facebook listens to us, right? Facebook, when I first had Kindle, it was, or actually maybe it was Audible, I forget, but it was suggesting all these ADHD for women books. And I was like, I'm offended. Like, what? Do they think that I have ADHD just by listening to my my phone? And then I think that they do. They think I have that. I mean, it's very common if you have that.
We probably all have a little bit of it.
I think we all have a little bit of it, but my iPhone noticed enough in my regular life listening that it was like, she needs this. And it was like ADHD in women who are like 30 or whatever. And I'm like, shut up.
That's so funny.
Shut up, Audible prompts. Y'all, my brain will wonder sometimes if I read physically. Mine does too, somewhat. Not always, but it happens. No, I agree. I've had moments
I can't focus if my kids are running around.
Yeah. I would really say hard. That it's hard sometimes. People say that when they read books, like I think I've seen this a reel where there's like a lot of noise and talking. And then when you're reading or you open up a book, it's like everything goes quiet. I feel like I have those moments sometimes, but not always. So you're right, Keisha. I often sometimes in my own head, I'll trail off too and think about something like Flawless makes me think of this person or makes me think of this show or something. And then I just.
If I'm really into a book, then I can tune out like everything. But if I'm just starting a book, I can't in the middle of chaos, like at all.
It's true. You always joke around with me because I listen to my audiobooks at 2 times speed. I actually can't do that at the beginning of a book, kind of like you're saying. Like I have to have it slow and focus on all the content and details before I can go fast. So,
oh my gosh, I think Hannah said she was listening at 3 times speed yesterday.
Everybody has a beautiful mind.
And I was like, how?
I could never. Okay, so just for reference, everybody, let me just pull up Audible right now and let's go to 3 times speed because I need to hear this, and then we'll wrap it up because I'm sure everybody.
She said, I forget what she said, but somehow that was working out for her.
Here we go. This is 3 times speed, everybody. Are you listening? Let's go. Here we go.
I don't understand.
Bad things. A tale is told, whisper, with long limbs, and a lean, youthful face. Is a swing. What's it say for carnal pleasures? He walks like a waterlord. Beauty in his step. Manners and grace in the way of his hand.
It's like another language.
It's like speaking in tongues.
We're going to have to ask Hannah how this happens.
Yeah, we're so interested. Please tell us.
I don't think she's here anymore. She probably went to bed.
She's probably like, these people stay up way too late. Plus, when my toddler interrupts, I can continue listening and then go back to the physical quickly. Good. Very good point. I think the most I did was 2.75. Even I can't listen on 2.75, to be honest.
See, I'm with you, Courtney. It depends. If they're really slow, I can speed it up really fast. Like, if they
Yeah.
talk super slow, it'll just make them normal.
Yeah, agreed. It's so funny because I translated some of my Audible listening skills over to even like my Messenger app for Facebook. And like sometimes I
She
listen to
speeds us all along when she listens to
like
us.
my mom, not my mom, I guess necessarily Tyler's mom. Some people in my life, let's not name names since this is
All
live.
of us.
Some
She speeds
people,
all of us
I
up.
speed them up because they talk really slowly and then they just sound really happy. So, like, regardless of the content of the message, when I speed it up, it's like, like it's really happy. So I'm like, if I do this, every message will be very positive sounding.
I asked Leah one day after listening to so many audiobooks on 2 if all of us sound like really annoying and slow to her. Like, do you get used to Okay, wait, Hannah's here.
Sound like this now.
Okay, but Hannah, you were listening on
Hannah's here.
3. I think you said last night, and I was wondering how on earth you could listen on 3.
Hannah, I'm just shook. How? Hannah, were you here when I did this? This is you, Hannah.
Okay, my arms, legs, torso, and private. What I do. When we're done, we're both cursing. Me from the sting, him from the punch I threw his shoulder. Accidentally dislocated.
I don't even know one word he said. I don't. The speed for me is dependent on the narrator and the genre. I read fantasy slower than I do romance. Same. Big same. Because I feel like with romance, I mean, what is there to really know? But fantasy, we only need to know where it's headed.
Yeah, she says that's her favorite genre.
I do love romance because it's super
What is
easy.
there to really know?
I mean, it's they're gonna get together. It's happening. It's just
You skipped too.
I didn't actually. They came in late. They came in out of order. She said, I agree with Courtney. My brain slows it down.
Oh.
That sounds like a skill. So sorry. I keep getting distracted. I usually start on 2 times speed and then gradually make my way up. You're impressive, Hannah. Like you and Keisha and Courtney must have like super high IQs. My husband thinks I am some sort of superhuman when I am at 3 times speed. You're like a savant. It's pretty impressive. Like that's crazy.
Do you actually take in the book and
Like-
enjoy it that way? Like I can't imagine actually being in the book. It's like
I feel like it's assaulting.
listening to Siri.
If you're listening on 3 times speed, I feel like the book is assaulting you. like it becomes like it would just I just feel like that would be really difficult. I actually have had this happen to where I was listening on 2-point speed and I think I cranked it up to 2.2 and the book became assaulting to me because it hurt my ears. And
Assaulting.
It was too fast.
I feel assaulted.
I watch YouTube videos at 1.75 usually. And at first, my husband was like, girl, take a breath. My husband says that all the time. I slowed them down to normal speed. And he's like, that's more my speed. That's because our husbands just can't keep up. Tyler's read like 1 book this year. It's Audible.
Yeah, well, we apparently talk fast. And Tom was complaining about how I don't talk loud enough today. He's like, I can't hear you.
Oh, Tyler
Talk
says
louder.
Tyler
I'm like,
says
you're
mumble.
just deaf.
Tom talks low. Tom is one to talk. I feel like he doesn't like say anything super loud either.
Because my daughter was at the table and she answered him twice. And then he's like, answer me. And I'm like, she did.
That's crazy.
You just can't hear.
That's so funny. Tyler gets on to me for talking fast and he's like, I don't even know what you said.
It's because they tune us out.
They do. So fun fact, everybody here, I think, is still here when I had said I was a missionary for a long time. I got out of the habit of talking fast for a long time because you have to talk slow to people who are ESL, right? So I would be like, are you hungry? Like that slow, And so when I came back to America, I actually had a learning curve to where I couldn't understand Americans when they were talking so fast. And I had to relearn. Literally, I had to relearn the speed of talking fast and also hearing and processing fast. So maybe that's why I can't do 3 times speed. I'm not that good. I lost my edge.
I mean, I thought that Leah listened fast, but now I guess.
Now I'm just baseline. Now I'm no longer cool. He says they sound like chipmunks when I speed them up. They do, though.
They do.
They do. That's how we can finish books so quickly. I'm so excited about talking about audiobooks. I'm like joking. Because I can't talk about this around Megan.
It's like Leah had caffeine. When Leah has coffee, she literally shakes. Like, I'm not kidding.
I actually like, what's the word? Like you twitch or twerk.
She's like, I'm so hyper.
I get like twitchy or whatever when I have coffee. Definitely depends on the book. I get that completely. That's my favorite. Who's riding a motorcycle at 10:30?
Tyler.
No, it's not him. He's downstairs, me and a fatty and having snacks. That's my favorite quote. At 3 times speed, the book is assaulting you. But it totally is.
I literally will never stop thinking about that, though. That was funny.
I'm not kidding. If you were to put your earbuds in and you have it at regular volume and you're at 3 times speed, it would just be like you're in a boxing match with the book.
It's like you're getting beat.
Yes, it's like beating you up. But anyway, it's 10:30. Should we wrap it up?
Yes.
I know. Me and Wendy are losers. We have to go to bed early.
Well, we have to get up because we're both on the worship team. We have to be there at 9:15.
Although I don't think I'm going to.
Even though you're the worship leader and you could change it.
Did I say wait, I don't think I've said what time we need to meet.
Change like
change to
10
9:30.
a.m.
I wish. We're not that good. We can't. We need the practice. Oh crap, I didn't say what time. Hold on. While we're on here,
Well, they're all asleep now.
No,
why don't you just end the live?
We're just gonna end the live first before I do that. But
we're a mess. We're sorry. We're the most
ghost-
disorganized sprint.
It's fine. I mean, we didn't disappear like Summer did that one time. There's still
when Gwen was like, "What did she say?" That was so funny.
She's like,
"What'd she say?" Bye.
Bye. That was hilarious. Let's see. We usually go to 8 a.m.
Oh,
we need a moment of silence for how much that information has. I'm shooketh. Like 8 a.m. service, and then I volunteer. But tomorrow I am volunteering first, and then going to service at 11. Courtney, I feel like you've just made. Okay, so Hannah beat me out on the speed, and Courtney, you beat us at church like dedication. We're no longer cool. We're not even going to say what time
9 was early.
Let's go back and not tell her how early we think our church is because it's not. 8 a.m. Courtney, what time do you get up to leave? And also, how do you get your kids up? My kids would cry. So
I mean, I do too. I get up at 7 with my kids too, but like just to get ready and have to go somewhere, it's just a whole different thing.
Oh my gosh, I just can't. I would, I feel like if I had to get up and be at, you know what? I just realized Tyler is teaching tomorrow, so I actually do have to get up and be at church at 8. Let's go. I forgot. Crap. Tyler's get up early, so we're usually up anyway. Well, my kids are older now, so thank God they sleep in. Addie actually slept
Lucky. My kids are older and it doesn't make a difference.
It's because they go to school. My kids are homeschooled, so I feel like I don't have a time where I'm like, chop, let's get school going. I mean, kind of loosely 9, but my kids sleep until 10 on the weekends.
Like even when they're at your house, Addison's like awake at 6 and you're like, what?
Okay, so her daughter, Addison, spent the night at my house with my daughter, and they were up at 6:15, and they had gone outside on the front porch to play with sidewalk chalk. And I woke up just because I heard noises. And then I go into Addie's room and no kids are there. And I'm like, the kids are gone.
I was like, welcome to my life.
Oh my gosh. We get up for school at 6. So that's pretty much the norm on weekends. 6. Man, I'm loving my life right now. I'm glad my kids don't get up to school. It sounds so bad.
Me too, Hannah. Me too.
Thank you for the sprints, lovelies. Thank you, Hannah, for joining. Thank you, everybody, for joining. This grandma's going to bed. So are we. We got to go to church tomorrow. We got to prioritize Jesus. So let's go to bed. All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you for hopping on the sprint. We are probably going to do the sprint next on Wendy's channel. Look at her Instagram for updates on when that's going to be. Good night, Courtney. Good night, Hannah. Good night, Keisha and Talia and everybody else who is here. Still there. And we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Did I end it? No, I didn't. Here we go. Bye.